Hey, I'm Tshaka Armstrong, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Tech for the Rest of Us. And today we're going to be taking a look at a specific peripheral for the Xbox One. So let's say you're in the market, you're shopping for the kids or for the hubby or for the wife for some accessories for an Xbox One that you purchased last year. You're not going to be in the market to purchase a console, you're really just looking at those accessories. Microsoft has put out something new, their Xbox Elite wireless controller. This is for the hardcore gamer. This is for your hardcore gaming teen, husband or wife, and this is actually a very cool controller. You want to know what it does? Let's check it out. So what do you get when you unbox the Xbox Elite wireless controller, the Xbox One Elite wireless controller? Let's take a look. So first you're going to get this case that the controller comes in. It's a nice hard case, and inside the hard case, when you first unbox everything, that's where you find all the goodies. So you'll get your Xbox One Elite controller, and this Elite controller has metal components. It actually has a really reassuring heft to it, nice aluminum heft. It really feels solid, really feels durable, like this thing can take a beating. And if you have hardcore gamers who are going to be mashing buttons, it's going to need to be able to. Great thing is if they wear those buttons out, if they want to customize the buttons, you really get a great amount of customization options. Right here in the case with you, you get a bunch of different controllers. So let's check those out. So let's say you have larger hands and you want to replace the thumbsticks, maybe get a little more reach out of those. Everything's magnetic here, so you can pull that right off, go into the case, take out the longer thumbstick controller, and pop that right on. And there you go, you have the larger controller. You have two of those in the case so that you can actually just pop those both right on there, and now you have the larger controllers. Let's say you don't like the rough edges of those, you really want a smoother edge. It also comes with another set of short controllers, thumbstick adjusters. Actually, they're about a medium length than the other ones. These ones are the shortest, the little nubby controllers. So you can pop these on here. They have a smooth finish as opposed to the textured finish of these other controllers. You can change out the D-pad. So you can take this pad off, again, magnetic just like everything else, and pop on the other D-pad. So this one is your kind of your plus pad here, whereas the other one is kind of a bigger full surface control pad, depending on what you like to use. The real beauty in the Xbox One Elite controllers, the trigger locks back here. You can actually go ahead and shorten the trigger pull so that if you're in Call of Duty, some first-person shooter game, and you really want to shorten up that trigger, you just pop those two buttons right there and you decrease the amount of travel. Gives you that feather, that hair trigger that you might want when you're playing mashing buttons on those first-person shooter games. One of the other great functions of the controller is you can map so many other functions and add so much more functionality to these controllers by simply adding these little paddle shifter type paddles here. So you can add up to 4 of those to the device, to the Xbox Elite controller. You just pull them out right here, and as you see me loading them right in there, again with magnets, they pop right into the slots. And now you have all this extra functionality here that you can get. So not only do you have your triggers, you have all the extra controls down here. So you can really be as dexterous as you humanly can be with the Xbox Elite controller. And again, mapping all the different functions, all the different functionality to the back side of this controller. Again, shorten the trigger pull, adding the shifters and mapping different button variations, button functions to those controllers. The other thing you'll notice is on the Elite controller, it's textured. It has a textured grip on the back where you hold it. So you're definitely going to get a nice solid grip on the device. And there are a couple other options available for it that I don't have right now, such as a full keyboard that pops right into the data slot here on the bottom. You can also pop your headphones wired into the little aux jack here, the little headphone jack. Here are your menu buttons, your buttons that will get you around the Xbox One interface. You see you've got your standard Y, X, A, B buttons. But again, this controller is all about customization. You've already set up your controller just the way you want it, and now you're going to go into the settings menu and go ahead and go through those settings to configure all the different options, all the different variables with the controller. As you can see, there are already a bunch of different configurations, preset configurations that you can go through here. But if you really want to just set the sweet spots just the way you like it, you're going to get two different configuration options that will allow you to use one of these two slider positions here, as you can see on the screen, config 1 or config 2, to set up the controller just the way you want it and have those on-the-fly configuration options available to you. So let's see what exactly you get with those configurations. You can map or remap the buttons in a number of different ways. You come over here, you get the drop down, you can remap any of those buttons to any of the controller buttons. Quite a few options there. Let's go back to the previous screen. You actually can go into and set the trigger options. Now we know with the hardware, you already can go in and use a hardware lock to give yourself that feather trigger, but you can also go in and set the sweet spot on the trigger with these sliding scales. So you can go right here on the left side, right here on the right side, and really just set right where that sweet spot is. And you can go in with those sliders, adjust the dead zones, and really just set that sweet spot on that trigger right where and right triggers so that you get the same thing on each side. Again, backing out and going to the main, you can even control how bright the Xbox button lights up on the Elite controller. So they really did include quite a few functions on it. You've already seen the hardware functions. You can go in and even swap the sticks. So you can really get in and get a super level of customizability to really suit the way you play in a multitude of games, everything from first-person shooters to driving games to hack and slash, melee attack games, whatever it is that you're into, I can guarantee you pretty much can configure it just the way you want it with this Elite controller, the configuration settings, and all the hardware options that are available to you to swap it out, especially with those paddle shifters that we showed you earlier. So that is that in terms of what you're able to configure on the software side in the Xbox One interface. So that's it for the Xbox One Elite controller. Does it have enough customization options for you? Is it worth the cost? If you have a hardcore gamer in your life, they probably will think it is. I'm Tshaka Armstrong. This is for foxla.com. If you liked this video, if it helped you make a purchasing decision, if it helped you, whether that was to buy or not to buy, either way, please share, like, subscribe. If you have any questions that weren't answered in the video, please leave them in the comments below. We'll make sure to get to them. And as always, thank you for watching.